So just doing a little woods check through here. Kind of caught up on my new build right this minute. Start with a customer on Monday, building a few hundred. So just doing a quick walk through here in one section that I have not been through since we pulled taps. So just checking it out. The landowner actually changed hands here, so we got about 4,000 on this bush, and there's a $600,000 house that went for sale. So I'm pretty nervous that something may not work out with us being here. It is in the land use program, so it would seem silly for the new owner to not want us to use it, to utilize their tax credit here in Vermont. So, given just a check through here, so far pretty good. A lot of deer traffic. Not much for damage. So we're going to be pushing 18,000 taps this year, I guess. Close to it. I got one more little main line to build. But I got to wait for the town. They're replacing a culvert. I got that line, that main line goes underneath the culvert back to the sugar house. So I got to wait for them to dig that up and replace it. At which point then I will run a new main line. And hopefully the few hundred that are up through there will get us up to the 18,000. It's going to be close though. And didn't get as many this summer in that section I added as I wanted. It only ended up being about 500. I was hoping for 800 or 1,000 there. I think 1,000 was being greedy, but sometimes you don't know until you run up mines and get the drops out. Well, I was a little off on that. So, hey, you just never know sometimes. Trees just weren't as good as I thought. Some of the trees that I thought could have had 2 taps, once you walk around them and look at them, they really didn't deserve 2 taps. So now this is one of those ones where you get a duck. And then you can see this main line runs up the stone wall here. So there's lines on both sides. Makes it extra challenging during snowshoe season. Because that's the other season during sugaring. Snowshoe season. As you can see though, things are looking good here. This line is, it's long. It's probably, if I can remember how long this one is, 1,000. This one's like 1,800 feet long, 1,600 feet long, I guess. There's a little dead spot right here. We got to go through the pucker brush. I upgraded it to 1 inch last year. Believe it or not, it was 3/4. I did not build it like that. I purchased this bush from the person I purchased the sugar house from, and he had built it with 3/4. Okay. Beech trees. You gotta love beech trees. Well, I'm about 1,000 feet out. That's how long that 1 inch pipe was. So now we're on the 3/4. And this is definitely one of the longer lines in this system. This is probably the longest, I guess. And I try to keep the lines up, you know, they're about the height of my chest. We do get snow here in Shrewsbury, Vermont. And keeps the deer from getting caught up in the lines. Keep them up high enough. Chest height or even eyeball height isn't too awful terrible. Obviously the lay of the land sometimes doesn't always work out like that, but it has worked well here. And you see right here, this is about waist height. There's a pile of stones where there's an old gathering tank. There used to be a little sugar bush here the neighbors had probably 40-50 years ago or so. You can see there's a few pines in this bush here. Here we are, we're coming up to the end. A couple hundred feet more here, be at the end. Here we go. So far, so good. This line is on my radar to change these slides. I've had a lot of trouble with slides in the last couple years. They worked really well when they came out, and they're definitely fast and efficient for assembly and installing, but they don't stand up the test of time. What happens is this loop will slip, especially if it gets weighted, and pull it back through. Now, as you see, I got this wire tie on here. It's probably not really right. Now, I put wire ties on everything that I build new to hold it to the wire, so if a deer does bump it or a stick hits it or something and it springs it, that it won't come off the wire and then pull on the entrance. However, as you see, that wire tie may also be hindering, or it appears that it would be hindering the go by center action of these slide fittings. However, it is not. I've learned that it doesn't really matter. Once the slide fitting slips or wants to slip, it slips. So it doesn't really matter. I'm just not using them anymore. We just put straight fittings on now. It's much easier, one less fitting to deal with. Last year I had a heavy snow in December, and another lot that's got 4,500, 4,400 at it, and they're built brand new in the last 2 years with slide fittings. And last December I replaced every single one of the slide fittings because when we got that heavy snow, believe it or not, almost every one of them slipped. It pulled on the tubing and pulled it right through, and I definitely was not anticipating that problem. So I had to scramble and change out all those in 3 feet of snow, but it was well worth the time because we won't have that issue again. The unfortunate part is the straight that I replaced the slide with a straight. I did not get a chance to wire tie it to the wire because I would have had to remove some of the wire ties on the main line and the wire to get the wire tie in there to tie it to the straight. And that was going to be just too time consuming to do. So the next time it gets rebuilt, that's what'll be happening. Always wire tie to the wire. It doesn't fall off. The time it takes you to do it is worth a ton later. You know, because during the season when we're all busy, you don't want. Oh, here we go. Here's the old evaporator and the old buckets. You know, and they say sugar makers are bad with their plastic, but the old timers left their stuff out there just to rot away. All right, well, I'm gonna head down this next line.